Next, let's learn about a tribunal in London which has found that China is still harvesting organs from prisoners. That's something Beijing denies. The tribunal heard from medical experts and human rights investigators, and at the centre of its conclusions is a religious movement called Falun Gong. Now, these are Falun Gong followers in New York recently, but in China it had about 70 million followers until 1999 when it was banned, and a great number of those followers were imprisoned. Now, this tribunal has concluded that certain that Falun Gong is a source, probably the principal source of organs for forced organ harvesting. Well, the BBC's Matthew Hill has been investigating this issue. Here's his report.
This secretly filmed footage captures transplant patients in a Beijing hospital last November. It appears to show transplant patients in a busy waiting room admitting they'd only waited a few weeks to receive their organ. The suspicion is there's a roaring black market in organs. In other countries, it can take years to receive a suitable matching organ, but here it's only weeks. China does have a fledgling organ donation scheme, claiming more than 500,000 people have registered to donate. At an international transplant conference last year in Madrid, I put it to the doctor in charge of the system that many millions more donor registrations would be necessary to explain such short waiting times.
Last year, we have 15,000 organ transplantation performed.
He claimed organs came from some of the 6 million people who die each year in intensive care.
They estimate it's about at least 100,000 transplants.
There's nonsense. I don't want to answer the questions because no.
Well, how come I rang up? I was offered a liver very quickly. From a hospital in China. How is that possible?
I don't want to listen and answer the question. Somebody with some political agendas. Okay.
Well, that report was from the BBC's Matthew Hill, and I've been talking to him.
Well, the Chinese basically are of the opinion, and they gave a statement, they wouldn't actually do an interview, they said they were too busy for that, but in their statement they say they always follow World Health Organization guidelines on organ donation, so on all the principles of organ donation. That includes full transparency, and they've actually strengthened their management of the organ donation system, they say, in recent years. And also they're saying that the British people must not be misled by today's report.
And in terms of being misled, we've been describing this tribunal as independent. Can you give us a bit more background on exactly who set it up and what it is?
Yeah, well, they call themselves independent, but I mean, it was all set up by campaigners who were concerned about this issue, including Falun Gong campaigners. Having said that, the people on the tribunal are very eminent human rights lawyers. As a transplant surgeon, the chairman indeed was the QC in the prosecuting case against Slobodan Milosevic in the former Yugoslavia, with a long track record of proper tribunals, if you could understand. And there was also a separation between the campaigners and the panel themselves, so that they weren't really allowed to talk to each other.
But does the tribunal have any teeth? It obviously puts a lot of information into the public domain, but can it exert any pressure?
Well, it's got no legal status as such, but they would say that they are the second best thing to, if you like, a UN special rapporteur or a body like that, taking a look at that. But they believe that somebody needs to look at it, and they've set up what they believe to be a fairly robust system, cross-examining witnesses, witnesses giving evidence from across the world, over 50 witnesses, and inviting all parties, including the Chinese who didn't want to participate, to give their evidence.
Now, in a few minutes on Outside Source, I've got the latest